This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin meltdown, how to survive, and what's going on. We've seen approximately 15% of the global crypto market cap wiped out overnight, Bitcoin getting hit hard, all of the altcoins getting hit much harder. But even Bitcoin is breaking these key levels around 30,000, 29,000, 28,000. And we're trading really at levels that we haven't seen since late 2020. I've been getting a lot of frantic comments, as you can imagine, comments and DMs, etc. Here's just a small selection, and I want to answer these questions. Hodling during a bear market is for the true believers only. I still have about 50%. I assume that means 50% of the Bitcoin that he or she was holding before, and that is hard to stomach. Feels like the markets are set for a waterfall decline. Hope I am wrong. Another comment. Hi, Matthew. I seek psychological support as I feel that Bitcoin is headed to 20K and perhaps all the way further down to below 10K. What do I tell my weakening hodl mind to keep holding on with diamond hands? These are very good questions, and I have to say in answering them that you're definitely not alone. Hodling Bitcoin is really hard. I was well prepared for this crash. I actually predicted it weeks ago on this channel. I predicted both Bitcoin 30,000, which seemed quite unbelievable at the time, as well as the UST, I'm sorry, that should be UST and Luna disasters. Nevertheless, in spite of preparing for this, expecting it, making videos about it on YouTube, my lizard brain is still on high alert. I haven't been sleeping well either, as I imagine many of you have not. I've been feeling numb and stressed and sick to my stomach, and my heart really does go out to anyone or everyone who has been destroyed in DeFi land, in the Luna ecosystem, in the Ethereum ecosystem, and in the other altcoins over the past few days, not to mention the stock market itself, which has not been a picnic. Lots of suicide talk on Twitter and Reddit that I'm seeing. Please do call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline if you need it. Here's the 1-800 number, 1-800-273-8255. I just got this from a simple Google search, which you can do the same. And again, there's no shame in getting help, but I will say that your life is so much more precious than any stupid trading account. Even if you've been completely wiped out and lost your entire net worth and now have a negative net worth, suicide is never ever the way. And there's definitely no shame in getting help. Hodling, even if you're just hodling Bitcoin and you've been very conservative and you understand what you own, it's still very difficult. People think it's like this top panel, what it's like to hodl Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin gets to $1 million, everyone's going to be telling you how easy it was. None of those people will have lived through what you and I are living through this week. This is what it's actually like to hodl. And it's very discouraging to get back to 2020 levels. But this is the way Bitcoin works. It makes people feel really bad on the upside. There's a lot of FOMO, and then on the downside there's pure terror. If you're finding this video helpful so far, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. So here's some tips for better hodling. First of all, stop checking the price of your Bitcoin. Really, just don't check it on your phone. Don't check it on your browser. Again, if you're constantly checking it on your phone, for one thing, your cell phone provider and whatever operating system you're using, whatever browser you're using, they know that you own Bitcoin. So it is a privacy leak, as well as something that's just going to spike your cortisol levels. There's really no reason to check the price of something that you're planning on holding for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 100 years. If you need to buy more Bitcoin, just put in limit orders at the price you want to buy it at. So this would look something like buy $2,000 worth of Bitcoin at a $30,000 limit. And limit order just means you'll get filled at that price or at a lower price. You'll never have to pay more than the price you put at in your limit order. If you do this, if you put these limit orders in, then you don't need to be constantly glued to your screen and watching the market. Also remember, value your wealth in Bitcoin. Remember the best Bitcoin price model out there. I just came across this the other day. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. This is the projection, my projection as well, going through 2032 and beyond, that 1 Bitcoin will continue to be worth 1 Bitcoin. This seems like a flippant thing to say. It seems like a stupid thing to say, and it is at one level. But at another level, it's a very profound thing, because what you're doing is you're acknowledging the uniqueness and the specialness of this asset, and the fact that there are only going to be 21 million of them, and probably a lot fewer than that since so many have been lost. We are not going back to running the global economy using shiny yellow rocks sent between countries on boats. This is what people like Peter Schiff, a big hater of Bitcoin, believes. But I can guarantee you that the new digital world will demand digital money. Digital money, not yellow rocks, is the future. There's going to be some of this. You're going to have central banks buying gold, and especially buying physical gold, because paper gold doesn't do you any good. But the real future is digital money that can be sent around the world instantly. So it's very important to realize this point we're at. We're at this point of monetary reset. And the only question is, whose digital money is it going to be? Do you want Christine Lagarde's digital money? Do you want her CBDCs, or Jerome Powell's money, or Xi Jinping's money? The end game is only two different types of currencies. There's Bitcoin, and there's government issued, central bank controlled CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. The end game is not going to be XRP or ETH or Cardano. It's certainly not going to be Luna after the events of the past few days. So if you're holding Bitcoin, you have to ask yourself, why would you trade this very, very valuable, scarce money for dirty fiat money, for dollars or euros or whatever that you might panic into? Why would you trade your Bitcoin for dirty money that your masters control and that they're using to harvest you, to harvest the products of your labor, using it to harvest your energy and time? This is what inflation does. It steals from your time, because you put in all this time and effort to make money, then you stick it in the bank account, and it's slowly stolen through money printing by the central bankers. Fiat money, CBDCs, this is slave money for the matrix. And the way you can punish our corrupt, degenerate overlords, the central bankers, the politicians who run things, is by exiting fiat. When you sell your US dollars for Bitcoin, you weaken the US dollar and you strengthen Bitcoin. And there's both a carrot and a stick involved in this way. You punish the existing system while you prepare yourself for the new system. So instead of focusing on how Bitcoin is currently being priced in a dirty, dying central banker currency like the US dollar, focus instead on Bitcoin itself. Focus on Bitcoin fundamentals. I've made hundreds of videos about Bitcoin, why it matters on YouTube, and none of these points have changed. I've been called a Bitcoin maximalist, and I hope you now see the reason why you want to become a Bitcoin maximalist, because this is our only hope. This is the only currency that's not controlled by a corporation or insiders or central bankers, and we only have one shot at this. And the people like Charles Hoskinson, Vitalik Buterin, and Do Kwon, who are distracting us from this future, are damaging the future and increasing the chances that it doesn't happen, and that we end up in a digital prison with government-controlled coins, whether that ends up being ETH or a central bank digital currency. You do not want this. If you haven't put in the time to really research Bitcoin, in other words, if you're not a toxic Bitcoin maximalist, I would suggest that you haven't done your research. It's not that you have to become a bad person and become toxic, but the more you understand money as a winner-take-all system, and the more you understand what scarce commodity money looks like, the more you'll realize that Bitcoin really isn't a class by itself. But if you haven't put in this time to really research Bitcoin, you're going to end up giving up and selling at the worst possible time. Your lizard brain is going to take control, and you're going to end up dumping Bitcoin probably very close to what turns out to be the bottom. Again, don't buy Bitcoin because I like it and I own it. Buy Bitcoin because you've done your own research and you understand it. And I have all these free videos available on YouTube to help you to level up. Focus on your Bitcoin education today. Don't focus on following every little thing imploding. Don't follow the fiat price. And then after you're done focusing on your basic Bitcoin education, focus on leveling up your Bitcoin game. And bear markets can be a very good time to do this. Learn how to self-custody with a hardware wallet. This is something we've been emphasizing a lot in the last few days. You can watch my video from yesterday about how if you leave your Bitcoin on Coinbase and it goes bankrupt, your Bitcoin is probably gone. It becomes part of the bankruptcy estate for Coinbase. Also, learn how to do multi-sig if you're holding large amounts. I have a couple of videos about this on YouTube as well as in my paid course. Learn how to do a coin join. Learn how to set up a Lightning wallet like Moon on your phone. Learn how to do these things during a bear market. This is a much more productive use of your time rather than doom scrolling on Twitter or Reddit or watching the fiat price of Bitcoin. So check out all my free videos on YouTube. And then if you still want more, you can take my paid course as well. Also, it's very important to take care of yourself. Instead of being glued to your screen, go for a jog, go for a walk, go outside and look up at the sky, go for a hike in the forest. The Japanese have this wonderful term called forest bathing, where you basically bathe in the forest. You expose yourself to the smells and the feeling of the forest. I like that metaphor, forest bathing. Spend more time with your friends and loved ones. Hug your spouse, your kids, your dog, your friend. Watch a comedy, watch stand-up comedy on YouTube, or watch a rom-com movie. Also, you can listen to some music. I find this very helpful, and I'll give you 3 suggestions here for whatever your musical tastes are. These are 3 of my favorites. Suave sia il vento from Mozart's Così fan tutte, amazing aria. Then, of course, Avicii, if you're a fan of Avicii like I am. Sunset Jesus is a great one with Sandro Cavazza. Bonnie Raitt, this is an old favorite of mine, a John Prine song, Angel from Montgomery. And then finally, this thing is pretty funny. Someone sent this to me. This is the sound of rain, sort of like you'd have in a machine that helps you go to sleep, a sound machine. But in addition to the rain, you get Michael Saylor's wisdom about Bitcoin in his very calming voice. So you can also check that out. That's pretty funny. So those are important do's. Important don'ts. Don't try to trade alts in order to get more Bitcoin. This is something I've been fighting against on this channel for over the past 12 months. And there's still a lot of people who have tried to do it. It worked well for a while. Now it's working disastrously bad. You should go after the thing you want to own rather than taking a side path to it. If you want to own Bitcoin, earn some money, do some work, provide some goods and services to someone, and use your dirty fiat cash that you earn to buy more Bitcoin. Don't trade alts in order to get more Bitcoin. And definitely don't do this during a crypto bear market. Also, don't buy these fake high-yielding products like Anchor or other stablecoin products that offer you 10 or 12%. We've seen what happened to UST and the whole Luna Terra ecosystem. High-yield products are never safe. You're being paid that high yield for a reason, because you're taking on a tremendous amount of risk. Also, don't buy Bitcoin using leverage. Don't buy paper Bitcoin. Don't buy Bitcoin IOUs. If you buy Bitcoin using leverage, there's a chance that you can end up losing it if it sells off enough. And again, don't buy any substitutes. Don't buy Bitcoin that you can't withdraw, like it used to be on Robinhood. I'm not sure if that's still true. Make sure that you own the real thing and that you hold your own private keys. And the way you do this is you buy your Bitcoin on an exchange or on an app, then you withdraw it and put it on a hardware wallet like a Trezor or a ColdCard. And I have lots of videos on YouTube about this. It goes without saying, know what you own. And if you still own dog coins or ape coins or NFTs or venture capitalist coins, VC coins like Solana that are controlled by insiders that are laughing as they dump on you, as we saw with David Sachs and Chamath in my video about Solana. If you own a coin that's being sued by the SEC like XRP, SEC can never sue Bitcoin because there's no one to sue. It's truly decentralized. XRP claims to be decentralized, and yet the SEC has found someone to sue. So if your coin is being sued, it's a sign that it's not really decentralized. Also, don't buy proof-of-stake coins like Cardano or or coins that are moving towards proof-of-stake like ETH. This is a big mistake. Proof-of-stake confers many more benefits for the original holders and the beneficiaries of the pre-mine, and it's not a secure way of securing money. It's not a neutral way of securing money. And I have many videos on YouTube you can check out about the problems with proof of stake. If you own these garbage coins, you're not going to make it. You need to own the pure digital commodity money that's known as Bitcoin, that's strictly limited, that's scarce, and that's controlled by no one. You don't want money that was issued by a corporation, just as you don't want money that was issued by a government. You don't want insider money that's controlled by insiders like Cardano or Ethereum. This was a great tweet from Jameson Lopp about all the forks of Bitcoin. So you can try to improve on Bitcoin by starting your own coin, or you can just fork it. But it turns out that the total value of all 50 forks of Bitcoin, and I hadn't realized there are quite that many over the past few years, a fork of a coin is just when you copy the code, maybe change one thing, and then launch it. All 50 forks of Bitcoin that were launched over the past 5 years have dropped below 1% of the market cap of Bitcoin alone. If you come at the king, and Bitcoin is the king, and Bitcoin's not just the king, it's in its own category. There's no queen, there's no prince, there are no competing kings in other countries. There's only one Bitcoin, and that's why it's so special. That's why I've devoted my whole channel to it. And this is what we need to focus on right now. Bear markets in stocks, bear markets in crypto and Bitcoin are how these assets are transferred from weak hands to strong hands or diamond hands. And you see this a lot if you live through the great bear markets of 2000 to 2002 or 2008 to 2009. You know what this looks like. And when you emerge from those and you realize, you see who dumped their valuable assets, who dumped their stocks or houses, and who bought them. You can go online and you can see all the billionaires buying up these shares as they're dumped. I remember, I believe it was Ted Turner bought a whole bunch of Coca-Cola back in 2009, right at the bottom. I believe it was him. It may have been someone else. But this is what happens. You're getting this transfer of valuable things from weak hands to strong hands. Now, there will be a lot of stocks. There'll be a lot of crypto. In fact, most crypto will never come back. It's probably not going to go to zero. If XRP can't go to zero, then maybe these other ones can't either, these other better coins. But the thing is, just because something doesn't go to zero, maybe it goes to 2 cents and stays there forever. But these garbage assets, things like Luna, Terra, are never going to come back. As we said during bear markets, quality assets are snapped up by wealthy people and people with strong hands at a deep discount, at these deep discount prices. And bear markets are paradoxically, they're where a lot of money is lost, but they're also where the real money is made. What you do in a bear market positions yourself for the bull market ahead. And Bitcoin goes through these bear markets and bull markets, but it's always higher highs and higher lows. And every 4 years, you're much, much higher. You usually add another zero to the end of Bitcoin's price every 4 years. So focus on this, and remember that bear markets are really opportunity zones. If you have the cash available, that's great. You can meaningfully increase your Bitcoin position. If you don't have the cash available, don't despair. You're still hodling Bitcoin. As long as you don't sell it or panic sell it, you ensure that you're going to be one of the lucky ones. You're not going to be one of those people who gets left behind holding altcoins and holding central bank digital currencies. If you hold your Bitcoin on your own hardware wallet, on a Trezor, on a ColdCard, no one can take it from you. If you hold your own private keys, no one can confiscate it from you. Of course, they can come to your house and put a gun to your head. The government can always do this, and there will be individual situations like this. But the government cannot do that to 50 million people. If you leave your Bitcoin on the exchange, and if everyone leaves their Bitcoin at Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or Binance, the government can just go there and confiscate it. But if everyone's holding their own private keys, holding their own Bitcoin, it becomes a little bit like the Second Amendment. It becomes very difficult for the government to do anything about it. So you strengthen the ecosystem. You also make your own Bitcoin more secure by holding it on a hardware wallet and holding your own private keys. So if you're holding your own keys, no one can take the Bitcoin from you. If you're not using leverage, on an exchange or otherwise, no one can take your Bitcoin from you because there are no margin calls, there's no liquidation price. In addition, remember, no one can dilute your Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that can be held using private keys. 21 million real Bitcoin. They can create paper Bitcoin. This can suppress the price of Bitcoin for short periods of time, but it does also lay the groundwork and set the kindling for a massive melt up as people sell their paper Bitcoin and try to get their hands on real Bitcoin. In addition to no one being able to dilute your Bitcoin, no one can confiscate your Bitcoin. The fiat price of Bitcoin may go crazy, whatever currency you think about it in. You should think about it in its own currency. Bitcoin should become your unit of value, where 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. But even now, if the fiat price of Bitcoin goes crazy and you're not holding it using leverage, you're holding your own private keys, you should be able to sleep well at night because you own the most important asset of the 21st century. So what comes next for Bitcoin and crypto? Here's my prediction, and I could certainly be wrong about this, But I'm modeling this on the stock market and what I've seen in bear markets before. In the stock market, in the early stages of the bear market, and I still think we're early on in the bear market in stocks, unless the Fed reverses course, which they don't look like they're going to do. But early on in a bear market, we often see a flight to safety from more risky stocks, maybe tech stocks, to more defensive stocks like consumer staples like Coke and McDonald's, and these sort of companies that have products that will be bought even during tough economic times. So I think we'll see something similar happen with Bitcoin. So you get this flight to safety from the riskier names and stocks to the less risky names. And then what happens is those less risky names, those quote unquote safe haven stocks, and there's ultimately no true safe haven stock, those safe haven stocks will then start moving down sharply. So the market, what it does is it scares people out of the risky stocks into the quote unquote safe stocks. And then eventually in the late stages of the bear market, it also tanks those safe haven stocks. So basically everyone gets a beating. Everyone feels really bad before the bear market is over. And I think something similar will probably happen here. We've been seeing this flight to safety from crypto garbage to Bitcoin. We did have a fairly sharp waterfall candlestick in Bitcoin last night. We'll see whether that was the bottom. It probably wasn't, because the Fed's nowhere close to reversing course. So be prepared for nasty waterfall candlesticks, big red candlesticks going down. Be prepared for flash crashes in Bitcoin. Be prepared for pure panic and capitulation. Of course, if you're not watching the price, if you're not watching your screen, you're not going to know it's happening, and that will be a better thing because it's going to bounce right back. If you have your limit orders in there, you can still benefit from any price crash. I think it's unlikely that Bitcoin goes below 20K, but this is Bitcoin. This is the fourth turning. This is the end of the current monetary system and a reset. So anything is possible. I'm using the Fed to time this. I'm not using charts or technical analysis, though those levels are important. Obviously, the previous high from the past bull market, so call it 20,000, that's a key level. But I think what's more important here is the Fed. The Fed can crash stuff as much as they want, but they're going to have to reverse course at some point. Otherwise, tax receipts will suffer so much. The whole economy will be in a recession, and you can't afford a deep recession when you have as much debt in the system as the U.S. economy and the global economy does. So I see no sign of the Federal Reserve relenting yet. I expect this bear market to continue. We could get very strong snapback rallies where Bitcoin or stocks goes up 20-25% from here before falling to new lows. You can just expect high volatility to the upside and to the downside. And this is what stock and Bitcoin bull markets and bear markets, I should say bear markets, look like. When the Fed reverses course, when they cry uncle and they bring back money printing, they're probably going to have to do yield curve control. Expect Bitcoin to hit new all-time highs very quickly. The cryptocurrencies that survive will also go up, but it's quite likely that a lot of these cryptos are not going to make it. Luna's obviously not going to make it, and some of the other garbage coins that you may or may not own are probably not going to make it. This is why I like Bitcoin, because you can hold it for the next 5 years, you can hold it for the next 50 years, you can probably hold it for the next 500 years as well, because it is the gold standard, it is digital gold, it is gold 2.0, it is pure energy, commodity, money. So expect Bitcoin to hit new all-time highs very quickly once the Fed reverses course. This is why you don't want to time this. You don't want to try to exit Bitcoin and have to pay taxes and try to figure out when to jump back in. And this is why I've chosen to ride Bitcoin all the way down. I don't think I'm smart enough to time this as well. But what I can do is I can use excess cash as it's generated to try to buy more Bitcoin at these levels. And that's what the Bitcoin buy orders are for. I still have limit orders in at 25,000. This one almost got filled this morning, but not quite. And then some orders in at 20,000. If it goes below that, I'll probably still be buying. This is something I'm holding for the rest of my life, whether it goes to zero, whether it goes to 1 million Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really our only hope at this point. Don't put your faith in altcoins. Don't put your faith in government coins. The only hope for escaping this decade intact is Bitcoin. It's the only currency that's not controlled by anyone. And to the extent we go through this monetary reset, it's the most important asset that you want to be holding. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. and let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.